Let's grow, Cryptard community. It's your boys, the Cryptardz. Today is the 24th of January, and we are going to give you guys a crypto price update for this week. So we're going to have Billy jump in the seat and give you his TA.
What's up, guys? So if you guys tuned into our episode 1, we discussed some potential price predictions for Bitcoin. We were right around this zone right here, consolidating within this wedge formation. At the time of our episode 1, we had mentioned a couple scenarios, either breaking out here, clearing this daily supply, adding on the retest of the daily supply as a conservative entry approach. The other scenario was losing this daily supply or demand and potentially heading down towards this 28K region. If you look to see what happened, we actually did lose the daily demand. We had mentioned that we were placing some bids at the bottoms of these wicks. If you were following our trade analysis, you should have gotten filled at the bottom of this wick. An important level to get back above was this daily demand right here. We're on the daily chart right now. If you look, we didn't quite make it back above the daily demand. We closed underneath it, saw some rejection right around the bottom of this previous trendline support, now resistance. If we look back at the 4-hour chart, this green zone right here, if we look at this 4-hour order block that preceded this up move, you can see that it's bounced at support here. It found some support and now it's bounced off of it once again. So this zone right here, around 3100, 31.2, 31,000 and 31.2K is pretty solid area of support. What we're looking at now is potentially to clear this 12-hour supply, right? Come back up, flip the 12-hour supply into support, and watch the reaction to see what's going to happen on this daily supply. If you got your fills right here at the bottom of this wick, a good place to add would be on the retest of this 12-hour supply. But there's another possible scenario that might come into play. Right now it looks like we can be potentially bouncing back off this 4-hour demand. The bearish side would be to come up here at this 12-hour supply, reject, and head back down towards this daily demand, sweeping this little swing low right here, and then potentially begin a reversal towards new highs, right? So bouncing off this daily demand, potentially see something like this play out, come up here, reject off that demand, come down here, bounce up. Just a little idea of what could potentially play out in the future. Maybe break this high, maybe just bounce sideways around these two zones, but we really don't know, right? So we're just playing it level by level. So right now we could potentially see break through this 12-hour supply, come down, add on this retest, flip this resistance into support. We don't know if it's the resistance yet, we'll know once we know the reaction, but just a couple plays to keep in mind. Break above, add on the retest, and just wait to see what happens with this daily supply. Bearish scenario, bounce up here, reject off this 12-hour supply, head back down towards this daily demand to sweep this swing low before continuation back up, right? So those are a couple things we're keeping our eye on. If the bearish scenario does play out, this will be another chance to get our fills right here at the bottom of this wick. You could play some bids within this blue zone if you wish. There's a good chance, if we are coming down to sweep it, we're going to dip somewhere in this blue zone. But that's a couple of options that we're watching for Bitcoin right now. If we want to switch over to Ethereum, give that a look. I've marked off some levels here if we start on the daily. Notice the RSI on the daily for Ethereum has stayed above the 50, whereas Bitcoin actually lost the 50 line now, and it's looking like it's finding some resistance with the 50s. So a little bit of strength lost on the Bitcoin trend. If you look at the 4 hour, it's also acting as some resistance here. So who knows, maybe a good chance that we don't even reach this 12-hour supply, and maybe from here we just continue to head down to sweep that low. Just keep your bids in play for here, and on the opposite side, like I mentioned, break above this 12-hour supply, buy the retest. Back to ETH. So you notice we're above the 50 on the RSI, so things are looking healthy here. I'm gonna switch over to the daily chart. So this daily demand zone is a pretty important level. If you notice, we were starting to break out and the Bitcoin started making its move down towards 28K. ETH started to follow. We bounced off of this 8-hour order block. I'm gonna zoom out. So this 8-hour order block was showing some support here. And then once Bitcoin started dumping, ETH started to follow, and it bounced right off that 8-hour demand. Now if we look, switch over to the 4-hour chart, this supply zone was an important level to break above. We found some resistance here. We finally broke above it, right? So now what I'm looking for on ETH is some form of a reaction to its previous all-time high before coming down to retest this 4-hour supply before new highs. This supply, it was acting as resistance, so it'll be flipped into support potentially. We'll just have to keep an eye out, but a good area to enter, I think, would be to buy a little piece on the retest here, and then off to new all-time highs on Ethereum. Those are a couple scenarios that I'm looking at for ETH and Bitcoin. Hope you guys got a fill on your Bitcoin last week. Just keep an eye out for those levels I mentioned, and we'll continue to update you guys as the week goes on. Thank you.
If you like what you saw, guys, be sure to like and subscribe, hit that bell notification down below, and be sure to follow us on Patreon at patreon.com/Cryptardz, where you get all of our updated trading analysis.